Tottenham fans, Manchester United fans, give us a shout. I know they're protesting this weekend, Tottenham fans. Just explain to us what that is all about. What is Daniel Levy not doing that you think that another owner would do? And I'm not defending Daniel Levy. I just want to know, because I'm going through it and I'm thinking, well, he might not have succeeded, but he's tried everything. He's tried the sort of born winner manager. Yeah. He's tried the homegrown manager. He's built a new stadium. He's built a new training ground. He's promoted players from the academy. He's bought a £65 million striker who's actually scoring goals. And I spoke to Dom Solanke last night as well, and he was very happy. He was in good spirits last night. I wonder if it's because he doesn't communicate. I don't think he's very good at sort of giving his vision across to the fans.
I think that's a problem for a lot of clubs in this country, by the way.
I don't think that he fully commits to invest. I think sometimes he sort of goes halfway there but doesn't do enough. You look at the squad last night, and I do think this should be pointed out as well. Last night, they had no Vicario, no Romero, no Van der Ven, no Ben Davies, no Mikey Moore, no Wilson Odobert, no Richarlison, all on the treatment table last night. No Bentancur last night. It was a big player for them, I think, as well. So the fact that they played the way they did, maybe sort of there was a little bit of an excuse there that they had a few in the treatment
well, certainly that's the nature of the text messages that we're getting this morning. They're a brittle bunch, Tottenham fans, aren't they? On one hand, they want to protest against the owner, presumably because he's not delivering silverware. I came out this morning and say they're not going to win the League Cup, and all of a sudden I'm public enemy number one.
But you're usually public enemy number one. Please read this and pull Crookie up. Crookie, how is it likely that Liverpool will play Arsenal? Newcastle have played and beat Arsenal already this season, so what's stopping us doing it again? Players getting back fit, Isaac flying, Gordon back in form, Tonali showing what a great player is, and Arsenal only scoring from corners. We can get to the final, no problem, says Chris the Toon.
I hope they do. I'd love to see Newcastle and Eddie Howe in another final, but I think if you look at the odds, then Arsenal are going to be heavy favourites to win that tie.
Spurs would have comfortably won if Forster didn't make individual errors. The game plan was right. Once the keeper makes a couple of mistakes, the whole team panic. That's the problem, says Darren in Redcar.
You called that in commentary, actually. I was at Chelsea last night, and you had me on the edge of my seat. I've got to say, it was certainly far more entertaining than what I was watching at Stamford Bridge. But you called it. As soon as they conceded the first goal, because they keep throwing away leads, the players just sort of melted for a few minutes, didn't they?
Do you know what? I do think that Ange has to take a little bit of responsibility as well, because I noticed this yesterday, and as soon as the goal went in, he was sort of head down, chin on chest, shaking his head, looking as if like the whole world had caved in. I was like, it's 3-1. The game is still in your control. Don't spread that anxiety. And the anxiety spread like wildfire. I mean, yes, Fraser Forster made mistakes, but they were under the cosh as well. Ahmad had an effort which was deflected narrowly wide. Mazraoui missed a really good chance. There were a couple of other moments where they got into the box, Manchester United. At 3-2, there was only one team that were going to win it until Altay. Tony, a Spurs fan. Hello.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Were you at the game last night?
Wasn't actually. I've kind of had a bit of a hiatus. I've kind of I've been having a bit of a break from it.
Is that because your heart can't take it?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of that, Sam, but also I think it is definitely a backlash to Mr. Levy being in charge, because our motto, "To dare is to do," has been turned into "To dare is too dear," and unfortunately. You've made some great points, Sam, about we have got the stadium. We've got this amazing revenue system that's now built by him, but we are an entertainment business with a football club attached to it. And actually what he's done, Mr. Levy, is he's taken a great football club that was I know we were in trouble when Sugar had it and then he got us out of trouble and then he kind of passed on the mantle. But the focus is always about profit. And actually, he buys players, but not the right players for the right manager. And I'll give you some examples. You don't bring in Jose Mourinho, who actually, the football was actually quite good with Spurs under Mourinho in terms of counter-attacking, goal-scoring football with Harry Kane up top. But he never, ever bought the right players to fit a Jose team. He never, ever bought the right players and invested properly to fit a Conte team. And to sack our manager 5 days before the opportunity to win the trophy means that he would have had to pay Jose a bonus, a win bonus.
That's what it was all about, wasn't it, right? Okay, so he's minimising the risk of the financial. He would have to, one, he would have had to have paid him a bonus, but two, he probably would have had to have then succumbed to his demands, keep him, and then build with him in the summer, because the fans would not have taken it if you throw away a trophy-winning manager. So, I mean, he was sort of hedging his bets there.
But how much of this is on Daniel Levy and how much of this is on the Lewis family, who are actually the owners of the football club?
Yeah, but Daniel runs the whole joint.
Well, yeah, the thing is, Daniel runs the club, but the Lewis family obviously bankroll it. But Daniel has an interest. He is a major stakeholder.
Yeah.
And I think we are in a very similar situation to the Glazers. And, I feel your pain in terms of being a Man U fan, knowing what they're doing to the club, drawing down all the time. And it is, but they do put their money where their mouth is in terms of, I think, better quality players to fit a system of a manager.
It's not their money, though, is it? That's the whole point. They've just laden the football club with debt, which you've not got. You've got a brilliant stadium, and you're not in the financial straits that United are.
The other thing is, you're not going to go bankrupt, are you?
We're not going to go bankrupt, but what is the point? If you are a football club, what is the point?
Well, what is the point? What do you want? What do you want? Tell me what you want.
I'll tell you what I would have wanted, Sam. I would have rather Mr. Levy have backed Maurizio Pochettino
100%.
and given him all the money he needed to build on that squad when we got to
the
Champions League finals, League Cup finals. We were building an amazing squad with an amazing manager, and instead he turned the clock. He turned the steering wheel away from the football side, and he went into building a commercial out. The stadium. He took us to Wembley. We were playing out of Wembley with Pochettino when he should have been buying extra players to help us win that title, and he stopped us winning the title. Nobody else but Levy stopped us winning that title.
Tony, thank you very much. Appreciate your call. Brilliant call and well articulated. Are we doing Russell now? You want to do it after the break? Russell's got some alternative points of view. Russell, go for it.
Hi, guys. Well, first of all, I don't agree at all with that last caller. I don't know what Spurs fans actually want. Protesting for me is ridiculous. The guy has spent £1.7 billion since he took over. So I don't know what everyone expects that he should be doing. He's tried some of the greatest managers in the world. Okay, it hasn't worked out. And if you look at the team we got now, we're probably 2, maybe 3 players away from being one of the top sides. So we're on the brink of something, and he's brought a manager in that has got a unique way of playing. So don't say that the guy's not trying. He's trying everything he possibly can. And as a Spurs fan that's been going 50 years, I've got to tell you, I've had more fun in the last 20 years than I have in the 30 before. I've travelled all over the world seeing Spurs play. And we've got to a final. All right, we didn't win a Champions League final. But I think we're so much on the right path. And I think if you give Ange a little bit of time, just a little bit of time, it's only going to improve things. And I can't tell you how excited I am to turn up for Spurs every single week now. And I think Spurs fans have got to get behind it. All this protesting and moaning, I get a bit sick of it after a while, to be honest.
Okay, Russell, do you think it's a sense of entitlement? Because you've spoken brilliantly there, and I remember the 90s, and I don't remember Tottenham being serial trophy challengers then. So would you say they're in a better position now than they were when Alan Sugar was in charge, for example?
Hold on, they were serial serial trophy challengers in the 80s, though, weren't they?
That's why I said 90s.
Back to back. Yeah, but that's just one period in time. So they're back to back, and they were in the FA Cup final in 1991. They won the FA Cup final in 1999, and they won the Carabao Cup in 1999. So they won 2 trophies in that decade.
But they weren't serial challengers, were they? And in terms of the Premier League, they weren't serial challengers.
Russell, what do you want?
I just would like them to think very carefully about the next 2 or 3 signings. And if we make those right 2 or 3 signings, coupled with the players we've got now, I think we're up there challenging for the title. I don't think we're far away.
Okay.
I think Ange is the man to do it.
03717223344. We've had 2 sides of the divide there from 2 different Spurs perspectives. A fan base seems to be divided. So what do you think? Why don't you tell us what you want? 03717223344. You can text us 81089. Are you on the brink of something magic, as Russell seems to think, or are you a club of missed opportunity? David is a Spurs fan, so is Philip. Let's start with Philip. Hello.
Hi, Philip. Great show as always.
Thank you very much. What do you want to say, pal?
I'm unbelievably happy with Spurs at the minute, and there's no point everyone moaning about Levy. He's not going anywhere.
True.
I mean, Ange buying the young lad from Leeds and Bergvall is absolutely excellent for the future. That young boy from Leeds is going to be a superstar.
Yep.
I mean, anyone can see it. My daughter said to me last night, 91 other teams, Dad, we could have supported. Why did you make me support Spurs? But that's what it's like.
Every kid says that to their dad, though, don't they? At some stage, every kid says it to their dad.
It's so entertaining. Compared to Mourinho and Conte, people have got short memories. And Man United have spent God knows how many billions. It doesn't guarantee success.
That's true.
What are we, six spenders in the league? And we're punching above that. Nobody wants to play us in the cup. We've got as good a chance to beat Liverpool, especially if we get our boys back at the back. So I'm well up for it. Give Ange a break.
Okay, David is a Spurs fan. Hello, David.
Yeah, hi. Good morning.
You don't sound very happy, David. Immediately, I'm sitting there getting negative vibes off you. Tell me that's not true.
Yeah, it's this narrative around Ange that he's some sort of, naive foreigner that's sort of in the country and he doesn't really get the Premier League and he doesn't really sort of understand the nuances around football and all that. I find it really patronising. His tactics work. It's not his tactics that he's working with a squad that have 10 players out. They bought teenagers, apart from Solanke, who's a perfect fit. They bought teenagers in close season. He's a year and a half in. He'll get better if he's back.
The counter-argument to that, though, David, will be that you have to work with the squad that you've got, right? So you have to adapt in order to be able to maximise the playing staff that you've either inherited or you've acquired. And they are 10th.
And if you look at the top 10 as well, you say they've beaten some top sides over the last 18 months. They lost to Chelsea, who was second. They were 2-0 up in that game. They lost to Arsenal, who didn't have their two best midfielders at home. They're third. They lost to Bournemouth, and Bournemouth were comfortably the better team that night. Bournemouth are sixth for this moment in time. They lost to Fulham, who were eighth, and they lost to Brighton, who were ninth. And again, they were 2-0 up that night. So you don't really beat anybody in the top 10.
Well, we do. We've beaten United twice.
United are 13th, and City. Yeah, you beat City, but everybody's beating City at the moment.
Well, we beat Villa 4-1 as well.
Yeah, so that's two out of the top 10 that you've managed to beat. You've lost to everybody else.
Last year we beat Liverpool. Last year we beat teams at the top. Look, the thing is, Spurs aren't in the top 4 at the moment. They're not good enough. The squad isn't good enough. I'll take your point about working with the players, but this isn't sort of like kamikaze football.
It is kamikaze football. You're 2-0 up at Brighton and you got beat.
It was kamikaze last night.
It was individual. It was
kamikaze against Chelsea. 2-0 up after 15 minutes. You got beat.
Chelsea are a better team.
Yeah, but you gifted them goals. You've got to make yourselves hard to play against.
To suggest it's not kamikaze football would be a little bit disingenuous because it is end-to-end. I mean, even the manager came out to me last night and said, he said to the players, you've just taken 18 months of my lifespan. I mean, clearly he thinks that it's chaotic as well. But it is entertaining. It's whether or not you can deal with that entertainment. And whether that entertainment actually generates what you want. What do you want as a Spurs fan? Do you want a trophy? Do you want a change for the Premier League? Are you happy with just the cup and entertaining football? What do you want?
What do I want? I want it all, but we're not. What I want and what I'm going to get are two different things mostly. So I want us to progress, and I think we are progressing. I think when we get our squad back, and if obviously a couple more transfer windows, we could be in an incredibly good position. I think Ange knows exactly what he needs to do. I don't see someone out of their depth who doesn't see all the things that everyone else can see. Look, when they scored their first goal last night, you said you called it. Everyone in the ground called it when United scored that first goal. There was a massive sort of intake of breath. You could feel it.
Well, that's not a great reflection on the team or the manager, then, is it? If you don't trust them to hold on to a 3-0 lead.
No, it's when they made it 3-1. Yeah, because obviously it does happen and it keeps happening. And these things are sort of self-fulfilling. There is nerves around this team. They're young. There's a lot of teenagers in that team and players in their early 20s, really young. And there isn't that much experience. Our best player, Son, is, past his best. He's still decent, but he's past his best. And he's not he's not a Roy Keane type character. Spurs lack certain things. He's doing a good job with what he's got at the moment.
Okay.
Is he perfect? No. Will he get there? I think so.
Okay, David, thank you very much. 03717223344. What does progress look like for Tottenham Hotspur? Because the last 5 years in the Premier League have looked like this. 6th, 7th, 4th, 8th and 5th. Baz is a Spurs fan. Hello.
Hi, guys. How are we?
Good, thank you. What do you want to say, pal?
Just one.
Baz, we've broken up there. What's going on? Can we get him back? Baz, go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for
Can you
it.
hear me? Yeah, Crookie at the top of the show said if their keeper hadn't thrown it in the net, they probably would have won. But our keeper also threw two in the
He did, yeah.
net, so that's
fair
pointless.
point. Listen, United probably didn't deserve to win. Fair play to Tottenham, they're in a semi-final, but
of course not.
You should have won more comfortably, arguably.
Of course. On to Levy. We pay the highest ticket prices in Europe.
Do you?
So if you want us to pay, you've got to start paying as well.
Hold on a second. Do you really pay the highest ticket prices in Europe? Because I was just having a look at this, and I think Fulham pay the highest tickets in football.
Our season tickets are the highest in Europe.
Your season ticket is 8,000. The least expensive season ticket is £856. Arsenal's least expensive season ticket is 1,073.
You don't even charge the highest ticket price in North London.
Oh, fair enough. All right then. All right. Well, let's go to what Levy said when he built the new stadium. Then, if we're going to, I was wrong about the first one. I apologise. But if we go to the next one, when Levy built the stadium, he promised us we were going to compete with the very best. He told us, you say that we're entitled, and we think that we should be better than what we are.
I didn't say you were. I asked the question.
Exactly. No, but that's fine. That's fair. But you have said, are we entitled? Well, no. We are told what we should want. The chairman said we will be competing with the very best. Champions League is a minimum every year. That's what he said. So why does he not act like it? Why does he tell us something, and then every single year he panics? Whenever we don't get in Champions League, it's when he spends the most money. That's a fact. Whenever we don't make Champions League, he pulls his finger out and says we need to fix it. But no, once again, what we've done is we've gone out and bought a load of kids, which is great for our future.
So you're saying that it's no strategy, there's no long-term strategy, it's all reactive.
No,
it's all like, let's just see what happens.
When he doesn't...
I think this is right? Okay,
I get that.
I get this. I think, I looked at it.
There's levels, though.
The Paratici thing, let's get a sporting director. Let's give him the opportunity to do something. Oh, we don't like that now, so we've got to change it. We've got Johan Langer.
Mm-hmm.
Has he got the power to bring in and build a squad for Ange Postecoglou for the long term? Because ultimately, this is what they need. If they're going to be a successful football club now, they need a long-term strategy about how they're going to achieve it.
But if Simon was in this chair, and listen, I'm not a defender of Daniel Levy, he would say, well, actually, that's a sign that Daniel Levy isn't happy with the lack of progress, and he tries different things. What I would ask the question is, how can Tottenham attract top players? If you're Declan Rice, for example, Arsenal and Man City were the two clubs at the table, he's gone to Arsenal. If Tottenham were part of that conversation, he's not going to go to Tottenham, is he? So that level of player is not going to sign for Spurs.
You are a little bit of a bear poker when it comes to Spurs, aren't you? I mean, even like just giving out those bare facts about the season tickets, you really revelled in the fact that
I didn't revel in it.
You revelled in the fact that you could say you don't even charge the top price in North London.
It made me chuckle.
You enjoyed that,
It made me chuckle.
It didn't help.
But you take my point. It's very difficult for Tottenham to attract the calibre of player who is truly going to kick them on to the next level, because they're not one of the big teams in English football.
But then again, they convinced Radu Dragosan, who at the time, forget what he's seen since, but at the time, Bayern Munich were in for him and Tottenham were in for him, right? Tottenham convinced him to come to North London. I mean, in hindsight...
He'd have been better fitted at Bayern. Oh, wow.
But do you not understand what I'm saying? Sometimes they can.
I think that's the last time you'll ever use Radu Dragosan to win an argument, by the way.
But they did convince him to join Spurs instead of Bayern, didn't they?
Can I just say, I've got no Spurs agenda. I don't dislike Spurs. I enjoy going there. Honestly,
you don't enjoy going there.
I
You're
do.
always moaning about
I love going there.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.